All right, welcome. Today we're going to jump right into the Gospel of John to unpack the incredible story of Philip's first encounter with Jesus. It's a moment that, honestly, reveals a huge theological truth about what it means to be sought and called.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Have you ever gotten a call, a piece of news that just completely stops you in your tracks and changes everything? Well, that is the exact experience we're about to dive into. It's the perfect setup for Philip's surprising, life-altering moment.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this whole thing down. We'll look at Philip's journey in 5 key steps, kind of following the analysis in our source material. We'll start with an unexpected call, then look at the divine initiative, a call to follow, the first witness, and finally, the prophesied one. So first up, an unexpected call. Our story kicks off in Galilee, and it's not with some big, flashy announcement. Nope, it all starts with what seems like a really simple, personal interaction that gets the ball rolling.
Now you've got to pay close attention to the language here. It doesn't say Philip found Jesus. No. The scripture is super specific. Jesus findeth Philip. And that one little word, it's the key to understanding this entire story.
And that brings us to the core argument of our whole analysis, the divine initiative. This is where things get really fascinating, because the interpretation here isn't just about who said hello first, it's a profound statement about the very nature of salvation.
Let's be crystal clear about this. The commentary we're drawing from argues this was not a chance meeting. Jesus traveled to Galilee for one specific reason: to find Philip. The first move was entirely God.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the main point, the lengths to which Jesus is willing to go. That journey to Galilee is seen as a picture of a much bigger spiritual reality, that he'll go any distance, for any person, in any condition, just to seek them out.
This verse is really the foundation for Jesus' entire mission. His search for Philip isn't just some random one-off event. It's a perfect, real-world demonstration of the very reason he came.
Now this interpretation also comes with a serious note of urgency. It warns that when you feel that divine call, when you sense Christ seeking you, you have to respond immediately. The idea being that God's Spirit doesn't strive with us forever.
Okay, so after Jesus finds Philip, he gives him this simple command, but it is just packed with meaning. It's a call to follow. It seems so straightforward, right? Follow me. But is it just about, walking behind someone? Well, the source material goes deep into the original Greek to show us it's a much, much bigger invitation.
So the word here is akalotheia, and it's not about your location, it's about a total transformation. It's a call to 2 core things. First, union, to be completely united with Jesus. And second, likeness, to actually become like Jesus. It's an invitation to completely reorient your entire life.
So, how does Philip respond to this life-changing call? Well, let's look at his very first action, because it shows he totally understood that whole likeness part, instantly.
This is so cool. Jesus sought and found Philip, and what's the first thing Philip does? He immediately goes and seeks and finds Nathanael. The one who is found instantly becomes a finder himself. He's already showing that likeness in action.
And listen to Philip's first words to his buddy Nathanael. They reveal his incredible conviction. He says, "We have found him, of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write." He's basically saying, this is the one all of Scripture has been pointing to.
And that brings us to our final section, the prophesied one. You see, Philip's statement to Nathanael wasn't just some wild, emotional guess. It was a conviction based on the scriptural evidence he'd probably been studying his whole life.
For Philip and Nathanael, the idea of the Messiah wasn't some vague hope. It was defined by tons of specific prophecies they had studied. They were waiting for someone who would fit a very detailed description.
And what you're seeing here is just a tiny sample of the evidence Philip was talking about, from prophecies about the Messiah's birthplace in Micah to his betrayal by a friend in the Psalms. Philip believed he was watching all these ancient threads come together in one person, Jesus of Nazareth.
So really, Philip's incredible excitement wasn't just about meeting a person. It was about watching the culmination of history itself. He believed he had found the one in whom all of God's promises, recorded over centuries, were finally coming true. And that leaves us with this really powerful idea. Philip's story starts not with his search for God, but with God's search for him. And his immediate response was to go and find someone else. It leaves us with a compelling question, doesn't it? What does that pattern inspire in us today?